Right. Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday to y'all. Yes. Shout out to the God Thor. He's been sending some storms through here, which has been really, really nice. And I've just been enjoying the pure cleansing and healing power of the rain. Oh, goodness. How are y'all this morning? I hope y'all are doing well. I have been doing a little bit of cleaning and organizing. I meant to come back yesterday for the rest of the readings, um, but I ended up getting busy with a student or a client, student slash client, and it got late, and so yeah. But I'll be back later on today with some more readings for the individual signs. I really have a passion for that. I really, really enjoy it. The one thing that I can see that my spirits are guiding me and leading me towards is necromancy. Um, and so the spirit realm does affect your worldly endeavors. So my spirits or my spirit guides feel that if you can get down to the root of whatever the spiritual problem is or the issue with spirit and how certain spirits are affecting you, how you're taking it, what you're doing about it. So they're leaning me towards that. And necromancy is not about death magic or killing somebody. A lot of people get that so confused. It's not about that, but it is about spirit and controlling spirits. People do need protection from spirits, from negative spirits. Okay. So, and sometimes the positive ones, sometimes, but mainly the negative ones. Um, there are a lot of you that are overwhelmed, and some of you even blame yourself because you have these spiritual gifts that are telling you the truth, and it can make you feel very disparaging. It can be very disparaging, feeling as though people hate you or why do they hate me? Especially those of you that have a lot of feelings and emotions and you're just a sweet person and you're going through um, hell, when everybody is turning their back on you and whatever it is you may be going through, finding out certain people are against you, you know stuff like that. And so I wanted to come and answer the question, why do they do it? And what my spirits want to drive home to y'all is that it is because they are possessed by nasty spirits. Okay. Sometimes this possession can be long term. So a lot of people say, well, that doesn't make any sense because that's maybe just how that person is. Yeah, that is how that person is. And that person could have been under possession for quite some time. There are some people out there that are under possession by spirits. There are some people that are under possession by indoctrinated beliefs. But all of it at the end of the day comes down to some kind of spirit or entity. Some people are under possession by aliens. Okay. So, what I wanted to drive home is that when you are on this earth and you have nothing but the instinct to survive, you can see it very clearly, and you just want to survive it. You just want to survive it, and you want to survive it unscathed. It does begin to take a toll on the mind, body, and the spirit. Um, and there's actually levels to this, and you can't stay stuck on one thing. For example, protection reversals. Protection reversals. At some point, facing the music is going to be necessary, which has a lot to do with learning how to deal with the people. Because some of the people that you're dealing with, you can't save them. Okay? You can't save them. It's not meant for you to save them. Some of the people you can. But for some of them you can't, because it's their fate, it's their destiny. Okay, for example, if you have someone throwing death and sickness magic at you and something happens to them, then that was their fate, unfortunately. And many people don't want to, a lot of people would rather not know the truth about certain people that we look at and we may call family or we may call our friends. But reality is reality. Okay. Any situation can get better. Um, any situation can get better, and right now, there are some people that it is meant for there to be forgiveness, but then there are some people that time seems to run out for them, unfortunately, because everybody knows that when you're going through stuff like that, it's just like they're beating you up. You feel like they're all punching you at the same time sometimes, and this can be difficult. Now, a lot of people will say, well, this person doesn't even practice witchcraft. It doesn't have to be a person practicing witchcraft, it can be an entity attached to them. And so, this is the reason why you have to be able to discern what you can deal with and what you can't deal with, which is the reason why you walk away from certain people. And there's probably certain people that are walking away from you, and with good reason, because you have to figure out what is happening in spirit. Okay. And then that's when everything starts to happen. I always say that when I have issues with anybody, I can recognize when it's me or when it's them, because sometimes I take responsibility for everything. It was something that I was taught to do, to take responsibility. Not to say that I did something negative, but so, there could be spirits from the past, a past life, or there could be entities attached to your bloodline. There could be things that you have to take care of spiritually before you can move to the next level or the next phase in your life. And when you start to take responsibility, then that's when you're no longer making excuses. That's when things begin to happen for you. Okay. um and so you have a choice in the matter of what you want, or either always follow your intuition. The one thing that is important is learning how to learn what to do with these spirits. Okay. And learning how to truly block them out of your space. And I believe that this is when you are at the top level, when you get to that point, to where you recognize the spirits that are coming for you, because they never stop until you do something about it. And it's not just about saging your home. It's not just about putting protection around your home. It goes a lot deeper than that. Okay. So everybody has their own way of dealing with things. You can either be a champion or a loser, somebody that feels sorry for themselves. You have to be strong. Um, Especially when you're dealing with the spirit realm and you're a psychic or a medium or an empath. You have to understand that there are a lot of people that do the stuff that they do because they don't know anything about what is actually going on. When it comes to spirituality and religion, they are taught to just be very ignorant to what's happening, and that's just it. Okay. But you have the information. Most of the time, when people are under that kind of possession, they don't even remember some of the stuff that they or that they done or said. They don't even remember. They don't even remember. Okay. So the trauma of it all will eventually go away. Just that trauma, that traumatic feeling, that feeling of being numb, that feeling of being, just beaten up, it'll go away. You got to take time to heal yourself. Um, the mind, you ever spill a cup of water on the floor, or if you have something in an awkward spot and you have to constantly move past it or walk around it or step over it, but then finally when that water dries, you can, or when you move the item out of the way, your mind still kind of thinks that it's there, so you kind of stop yourself a little bit. Same thing with the mind and the body. What it will do is it will start to go through the repetition of it, especially when you for so long have absolutely no idea what to do about what's happening to you. And then when you figure it out, it's going to take at least, depends on who you are, 1 to 3 moon cycles for your spirit, for your body to say, okay, it's no longer there anymore, because you're remembering it. And see, this is the process of healing. And it's very difficult, especially when you've been through trauma. Spiritual warfare is factually very traumatic. It's very traumatic, especially when it is being facilitated by people like your family. Okay. It can be very traumatic. It can be a very hard pill to swallow going through something like that. It's terrible. Hold on, y'all. So you have to remember that those people are under some kind of possession. And typically it's demonic. It could be alien possession. It could be spirit possession. It's not always even witchcraft. This is one of the reasons why if you are a medium, you have to go into spirit and learn about necromancy. Like I was saying yesterday during the Gemini reading, damn, it just went. I don't know where it went. um, Spirits can typically do whatever they want to do. This is the reason why being a funeral home director does not just make you somebody that embalms the dead. You have a much, much more important job to do. And a lot of funeral homes don't know this. This is why I don't go to funerals. Because they used to, Anubis, who is an ancient Egyptian god, Anubis would actually guide the spirits to the afterlife before they mummified them. They don't do that. They just embalm them, put makeup on them, sit them out there, and, if that's a negative spirit, and then not only that, if a person is possessed with negative spirits, then you got several spirits or hundreds of spirits that are now free and roaming. And this is the reason why some people get very sick at funerals. So I kind of think that um, there's a lot of funeral homes that probably do have that knowledge, but a lot of them are just there to bury the dead, and they don't really truly tap into what they're dealing with. So these spirits will become disembodied, or they will stay, they won't go. Okay. And depending on the person's spiritual power, they can choose to not go, right? For example, if your enemies, and this would never happen because God is telling me that, but if your enemies were actually able to put you in the ground, more than likely you would haunt the fuck out of them. You would come back to avenge your own death. Happens all the time. Unless somebody wanted to die, which, that's a whole other story. But I'm sensing a lot of depression out there because of it. It's a lot of depression because you kind of feel lost. You feel lost. You feel like you can't trust anybody. You feel horrible. And so there's ways that you can heal yourself. I know that immunity oil that I made uh, has really, really, really helped, especially when it comes to healing the heart chakra. Um, this is the reason why heart disease is one of the biggest killers, is because people get their heart broken, and it's not, it's like, it hurts them. It hurts their heart, especially if you're somebody that feels. It's not the point of disconnecting from your emotions, but it's all about figuring out what the hell is going on, but at the same time, focusing on healing yourself. Healing. 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 Okay. And so there's so many different ways that you can start to heal yourself. And so this is the reason why my clients, they go through a specific coaching with me to instruct them to do the spiritual baths. I even send them certain herbs or oils, okay, for them to anoint themselves with, or either burn, or either put in the bath, okay, or either boil on the stove. Boiling herbs has an extremely positive effect on the quality of life, because, there's a lot of people out there that are thinking, am I sick? Do I have some kind of debilitating disease? And then you go to the doctor and they'll be like, there's nothing wrong with you. So then you become a medical mystery. And typically, if it can't be explained medically, then what you're dealing with is spiritual. Okay. So that's why, though. That is why. And I believe that because of the going way back to ancient Egyptian, you know, going way back there, I think that the information has become lost for the most part. So I believe that the reason why the problem is so bad, and why you're looking at the world and you're like, what in the world is going on? It's because we don't know what to do with the dead. We're not doing the proper thing with the dead, unless you are a high priestess such as myself. I deal with cases every day, hauntings, demonic attachments, parasitic energy, entity attachments. Okay. So this is something that I deal with on a daily basis. Now, and trust and believe that I have had so many, family attacking me, complete strangers on YouTube attacking me, which can sometimes make me extra vulnerable. But I have faith. So, I have a lot of faith, and that's how I am able to persevere, because I have faith. Okay. And so I think I don't think I know, I know that that is the problem. For example, with Putin, Putin is obviously possessed, obviously. Okay. The president of the United States under possession. Okay. So, um, a lot of the crazy stuff that you see happening, it is possession. And, it's not, possession is not always bad. I know that I work with the deities, and I work with, yeah, I work with a lot of different ones if I have to. Rarely do I ask a deity to possess me, though. It depends. The last time I offered myself for possession from a deity was when my mother passed away last year, and I needed that extra strength. But otherwise, I just work with them. A deity is very different than a spirit. A lot of people don't understand that. A deity is very powerful. Um, I ran up on a deity yesterday while working with one of my students called K Leech. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that goddess, Cailleach. And she is a very powerful crone witch. And God, how did I forget? But she's very strong and powerful, very, very strong, not talked about too much either, but very strong, especially when it comes to, maybe if you're dealing with a crone, or if you are a crone yourself. Okay. And so that is, when we look at oracle cards and tarot cards, this is information, and information is powerful. This is one of the reasons why I bought the Dark Goddess Oracle deck, because when you have, the more information that you have, the better. Information is going to separate you from being ignorant. And ignorance is never bliss. That's a lie. Okay. I've seen more people ignorant lose their life, lose their health, lose. And, so, and then it's important to know yourself. There's a lot of people that they will go into witchcraft and they will fall under possession of a horrible spirit that will lead them to doing some horrible things. And then it's a hole that they end up having to dig themselves out of. And sometimes that hole might be 6 feet deep. So when you are called to the path, it is good to have someone that you can go to, that you can trust. That's very important, because a lot of people are stuck on the human sacrifice thing. I think it's hilarious. Spirit laughs about it all the time, about how people are just really into the blood sacrificing and stuff like that. And especially the religious ones, they're like, Jesus is coming back. Jesus already came back during the resurrection thousands of years ago. That's where they get that from. Jesus is coming back, and he came back already. He already came back from what seemed like the dead. He may have came back from the dead. I can't say that Jesus didn't die on that cross and resurrect. But for some reason, even though that sacrifice was made, people are still stuck on human sacrifice. So you got a lot of people that they will throw shit at you, and you may be getting sick because of it. You may be very, very sick because of people's ignorance. But you know what? You know what's going to mess you up is your own ignorance. Okay? You don't go along with the crowd. If they want to be ignorant, let them be ignorant. If they want to play dumb, let them play dumb. But usually they ain't playing. They just don't know. Things become much brighter, because right now, when you have that wool pulled over your eyes, it seems like everything just dark. And you have that light sensitivity, and you like, you know, that's bothering. You know what I'm saying? But when you are enlightened about this, okay? Because ignorance is a sinking ship. The matrix is sinking. Everybody that wants to stick with the matrix, that's what we call it, the matrix. It's where you don't have to deal with it. Okay. Everybody that is on that boat is sinking. While the enlightened ones are staying afloat. Okay. So it does take faith, but it also takes your emerging powers. The other night, I actually threw the cards on myself. And you should do this. You should ask spirit guides, show me my powers. Okay. And lay out either 10 or 15 cards. That's how I usually do it, in sets of fives. And I was blown away by the power that I have, that the powers that I have that are still being suppressed inside of me, because spirit let me know, here's a power, it's inactive. Here's a power, it was, and so it's really, really good to look at self. Everybody is obsessed with killing that person, making that person ugly, doing the, it just, and all of that just keeps you stuck. People are stuck on that. Um, yeah, people are stuck on the aesthetics, and that's so funny when there's so many deeper things to explore. And so I was excited when the star card came up in the upright position, because that let me know that my healing powers are very active. However, I had entities feeding off of that power, and I had to do something about it. Okay. It was a very hard lesson that I learned. Probably shouldn't go around telling people that you're a healer or that you have the power of resurgence. Okay. It's kind of too late for me, but, you know, and again, even if you do that, because there are a lot of people that do, knowing what to do to protect your energy. You know, um, because you have to. It's not that you're being selfish. It's not that you're being stingy. It's just that some people have spirit attachments that will suck you dry. They're like a black hole. They're like a black hole, and it's just like going into nothingness. It would be different if this energy was being taken to create another universe or something, but it's literally going into the void. And we all know what the void is. It's a void. Okay. So, and it's doing nobody any good, not even that person. Are empty seaters and people that just have no idea, even though people around them are factually dying and getting sick. They're still blind to it. People around them will just, they just, you ever be around a person to where you just get sick around them, but then when you be around other people, they seem to energize you. Okay. And so that's kind of how you can tell, and it's not to shun that person. It's not that you have to shun that person, but I think that it is important for you to tell that person. And they may look at you like you crazy and say, "Oh, what are you talking about?" You know, at least you let them know, because eventually what will happen is that those entities and spirits will start to take their life force. Okay. So studying and understanding yoga and the chakras is very important. I do believe in that. Because prana is your life force. Okay. And so and there are entities out there. Now keep in mind, it takes years and years and years typically for these particular entities to take the life of somebody. It typically takes years. You can tell when something is tearing you down. And so I was looking at this commercial on YouTube. It was like a little ad before a video. And I think it was headed by the church or something. And it was saying that there was some secrets in the Bible, that I guess some people were taking advantage of or something. I clicked the link actually, and it said, give me your email address, and I didn't do it. I was like, I already know about all of that. But I thought it was interesting that that these particular people put it all off on Jesus, you know. And obviously Jesus ain't showing up a lot of times. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Um Again, like they said in the Bible, which I guess a lot of Christians question this, is that what is like 44,000, only 44,000 will be saved. So when you think about how there are millions of gods, because I am a polytheist, and a lot of those gods do the same exact thing, have the same exact knowledge and power and energy, then you got to think about the same thing. You know what I get from Jesus sometimes is, and I'm a medium, and so I can interpretate this, is that Jesus is very powerful, but he's very burdened. He's very burdened. Hey Angela, how are you? Good morning. Thank you. And so I don't know, like, that's what I get, and so that's why I only, if I do talk to Jesus, is usually just on Sunday, and I don't bother him too much because I know he busy. So anyway, I done got off of the subject. Spiritual warfare can make you feel as though you've been to World War III, or you know what I'm saying, World War I. And because a lot of people have been developing PTSD because of it. And so focus on the healing, because you will get better. You will. I promise. You'll get better, and things will get better, especially when you start to understand what is happening with spirit. Why are you sitting there 1 second and then all of a sudden you feel something happening? You're like, damn, I was fine 5 minutes ago. And because you're a medium, and there's spirits that either could be sent to you, or maybe spirits that are roaming by. Or it could be a spirit that's been attached to you for a while. There are people that are shamans and don't know it. I never forget. Um, I don't even want to get into detail about that, because I don't want to. But I've been around people that are shamans, and so shamans can actually be a huge vessel for spirits to come through them. And so, um, if you're a medium, you may be having those experiences to where you may be around a person. And if you're a medium, spirits can come through you as well. Shamanism, it's the same thing, sort of. But I think that shamans, they are the ones that can really contact beyond our imagination. Okay. And so, I think that when people understand and know who they are or what they are, then I think that things will go much smoother. But I believe that the current agenda to lower the population has a lot to do with that. Um, and I think that that within itself was whether or not that plan, that's a good question to ask the tarot. Is that plan predicated by God in some kind of way? We need to know why they're doing that. Okay. Um, And so because the whole depopulation agenda is scary enough. I personally believe that you can have a better quality of life and longevity if you trust in whatever it is that you trust in, and then also you have to have knowledge of that. And so it's okay because some of you guys that are meant to save people, okay, some of you guys that are meant to save people and help people, don't ever be afraid of that. Because some people, these spirits are a mess. They'll come to you like, and they'll say things to you like, if you help her, if you help him, I'm gonna kill you. And God will step in and go, no, you're not, or whoever it is that you consider to be God, Kali Ma, uh, you know, whoever, Sekhmet, whoever it is that you work with, okay? Okay. So, um, don't ever be afraid. And so a lot of the people that are my students, it is a very important calling. Whether or not you, because what you'll find is that you have a very important calling. And you'll find that it does get scary. It does get very scary, but it doesn't have to be, as long as you know what you're doing. Okay. Thank you, Angela. Hey, leave it to Eva. How you been doing? And so, anyway, you can either be understanding, or I feel like you should go with the flow of what your intuition tells you. For example, when I am working with spirit, my spirits are either going to tell me, okay, go away, maybe come back later, you know, or okay, it's okay. You can, because it's crazy because I have people that come up to me in the public and they'll just tell me about their spiritual problems. It's so weird. It's so weird. I'm wonderful, Eva. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you're doing good. Hey, Kels. Hello, good morning. So, try to be more understanding and patient, because anger can sometimes be useful. Now, I'm not saying that anger is always useful, but anger can sometimes be useful, especially if you need to manifest your strength sometimes. But and so that's even understandable. But when you get to that place where you have a deep level of understanding for what you're dealing with, then you have less anger, and less of the getting angry at God. And because how some people get angry, they get angry at God, and it's because you just don't understand. And so that's why I wanted to come and speak to y'all about that, because I feel that God in spirit has been pushing us to go beyond the training wheels. They've been pushing us. Hey, SC, good morning. They have been pushing. God is, and so I think of God as one big spiritual body. I'm a firm believer that the stars in the sky are all of the gods. So I have somewhat different beliefs, but all of them are relevant. But I think that we have been getting pushed to go beyond our understanding, so that we can understand greater and survive whatever this is that is going on. Okay, because it's amazing, but at the same time, it's overwhelming. And I remember, and a lot of your signs that you're getting, like when you feel overwhelmed by the sky. I remember I used to get so overwhelmed by the sky, even in daytime. I just look up and I'd have to look down, like, oh Lord, what is that? What is really going on up there? But that was one of the first signs of the connection to the divine. And we all have that connection to the divine. We all do. It just depends on how much you suppress it. So, you know, and but I think that that's one of the main aspects is when it comes to spirits, when it comes to entities, when it comes to not even demons, because a lot of the demons that we call demons, those are fallen angels. Those were entities that were casted out of heaven. They have a certain job that they do. But when it comes to spirits, is the main thing that you will eventually have to master. And what is that spirit capable of doing? Spirits are capable of possessing the body. They're capable of doing that if you are an open vessel for them. So, that's why you may feel certain types of ways at certain, times, and you definitely want to protect yourself because, it's a feeling of you not being there, or feeling like something, your body may be crowded or something, something just ain't right. And you don't want to be under possession by unfamiliar spirits, because especially if it's a spirit that has either been told to do harm to you, or either just has an intent on its own to do harm to you. Okay. So that is something that's very serious. And I think that my first discovery was when I was a kid and I was watching Ghostbusters. And so even though, we're not going to be using plasma, but really we are, the especially when we practice earth magic. But right, exactly. It's like some, and so your body's going to let you know when there is a negative invader that's coming in there. And yeah, so your senses will tell you, especially if you start to get any kind of anxiety and stuff like that. So know the signs. Anxiety is definitely a sign of that. If you are an anxiety sufferer, more than likely you're an empath or a medium. And so these things do come out of the blue, but out of the blue is ether. So, and you know what? I bet you in about 10 more years, or maybe even less than that, I think that they are going to start making some improvements and changes, especially in the prisons when they put prisoners to death that are on the death penalty. This is the reason why we have the news. For example, if someone has been put to death for a crime that they committed, and it may be nearby you, and if you just so happen to see something like that, and you get that eerie feeling like your skin is crawling, it might be time to do some work to protect yourself from that spirit, because that spirit, depending on the faith of the priest. I personally, because I'm a high priestess, I don't like to put my faith into too many outside sources. So I don't know that priest. I don't know what his credentials are, you know. And so I don't know if that priest, because typically there's a priest that's there, supposed to be. I mean, we're not there to see it. So we don't know if they're just putting them to death and, tossing them in the crematory, and burning the body does not. It don't always do it. I can tell you that. It don't always do the trick. Seriously. So it's I think that they do need to start looking at what's happening with these spirits that are being created, and a spirit can never be destroyed. It just has to go where it's supposed to go. Okay, so yeah, I think that there is going to be some obvious spiritual advancements, and even when you go to your meetings with the funeral homes, they're probably going to start telling you, hey, we're going to make sure that we I think that that's what I would want to hear, even though I yeah, it, I think I would want to hear that if I were to choose a funeral home. I would want to know that that funeral home knows that they have to do something with the spirit of the person, not just the body. Okay. So anyway, I have been rambling. I'm sorry if I've been rambling and going on and on. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, you guys. I'm gonna go because I'm getting ready to vacuum my bedroom floor. And I don't want to do that while I'm live because my vacuum is loud. I kind of, what I want to get eventually is one of those automatic vacuums that kind of just goes around the room and just vacuums it. They actually have those to where you just flip a switch and it kind of just goes around the room. I'd love to have one of those anyway. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be seeing y'all way later on today for some readings for the channel. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed this discussion. God bless y'all, and I'll see y'all later.